All right, everybody, let's get right to it. Welcome back on a Tuesday, midway through December, and some things to take a hard look at, dive deep. What's going on, chat? How you guys doing today? Folks, get over. You know what I'm gonna do? 2-week free trial. Get the software. That's it. That's where it starts. I do want to highlight one or two things. A bunch of new folks, and I'll address something that surprisingly happened over the weekend. But start with the software. That's what we're working with today. So send your TradingView username to hpc at sr-analyst.com. That's where it all begins. And then the free educational material, go to harmonictrader.com. Click register now, and then just needs an email address. Okay, and you can dive into all of the resource material on the basic members page there. And asking me for a login. And then just scroll down. It's all here. You guys can try all of these software versions. Here are the books. I strongly recommend you start with volume 3 because basically that ties everything together and new ideas. Foundational material, probably volume 1. And then look at the webinars. There. All right. That's for all the new folks. Welcome. Oh, yeah. Let me just show this. Don't know what happened here. I tweet sporadically over on X, and we're streaming on X right now. So shout out to those folks. Boy, what's going on here? I gotta log into everything. And I put a post about Bitcoin over the weekend. Just let me here. There you go. and really surprising because, guys, this is not even a harmonic pattern, but 71,000 views. I don't know if maybe I got caught in a positive algorithm cycle, or they needed content. But I firmly believe this is where we are in a lot of respects. And I just want to kind of highlight Bitcoin and the situation on Bitcoin and be clear that we've broken structure. We violated our top end scenarios with the breakdown in early October. But the bigger charts, like the real charts that you guys should be looking at, this was a follow-up, and I thought this was incredibly kind of just remarkable how it's rhyming. But here's the first cycle, and if we're going to go on the, use the cycle for the upside, we better look at it on the downside. And, so we go back every 4 years. Here's the 2011 retrace, and that was 786 minimum. I'm not even concerned so much of price, more proportion, because that's where we see the rhyming. That's 2011. Here's 2015. A little smoother, but another 786. Yes, we had some overspill, but that was the minimum achieved. We didn't get 886. We got 786 across the board. 2019, there you go again. 786, bear retrace. 2023. Okay, those are monthly charts. I think there's things that we can really dive deep on. And then what would be the next one? Well, there's 2027, guys, 786. That's what I'm thinking on monthly. And a lot of things have triggered that says this structurally broke. October broke it. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong for all the crypto people in the world, but I've been, the harmonics have been spot on. It's not even me, guys. It's me reading harmonic pattern framework. And that's my best recommendation. Study the frameworks, understand reaction, reversal, confirmation. It's not tough. Just take a week, 2 weeks, kind of get familiar with what you're looking at, and then you're going to have an insight, a level of knowledge, understanding within the framework, character, direction, target possibilities. That's all there. I mean, we might as well just kind of get Bitcoin out of the way, quite frankly, and then talk about the real opportunity setting up. Bitcoin's not an opportunity on the long side in any regard for me. And the weekly, the weekly chart is just, you are sideways here for 5 weeks, guys. Okay? I mean, you would need some major inflection immediately. That's not happening. Check out weekly oversold. Well, I mean, we're oversold, but that doesn't mean you're ready to reverse. A lot of people saying, yeah, RSI is at its lowest it's been in, history. This is amplified RSI. Okay, but just because you're super oversold does not mean you're ready to do the inflection out of the zone. There's our box. We're back in on another week. And this is actually one of the more devastating potential possibilities, is that we got oversold. It was such a lame reaction, which it is, that we go back in and expand. This is where it doesn't look like much, but I'm telling you, you're essentially, what you're saying is, hey, I want to come back in here. I want to try to retest or get close to retesting that prior low before I'm even going to come out of that zone. You don't come out of that zone, this is where price acceleration and violation can really happen. Been really clear on the targets too. So if you're on X, you want to give me a follow. Like I said, I'm not crazy all the time, but I'm kind of like in bunches when I see stuff. There we are, on, and we're here Tuesday, Thursday. Other thing, again, this is probably another good one. I'll put this link in the chat for everybody. Getting questions like I'm new follower, where can I start? Right here. That's it. Free software, education, and then come to the live streams. Give yourself 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, and then come back around. And then really start to dive into it. But catch up with what we're doing here. Okay, and Bitcoin, because it's so harmonic. Like Bitcoin's been just a fascinating harmonic creature. And the big signals, we've been, I do want to kind of review just so people understand, and do look at the timeline of the critical changes, especially Bitcoin here. Go back to the beginning of October, especially end of October, where I was just like, that's it, we failed. Even in December, we had this. I mean, this is the kind of thing, this was just, 10 days ago? And just another 4-hour perfect type 2 continuation. We hit target 2 this weekend. We hit 85,352. So that's the best way to really dig deep and see what we were saying 2 months ago, 6 months ago. I will follow up here, but this is because these charts are right there, this is the easier way to look at it. We got to retest, guys. These prior patterns from the March low, April low, are begging to be retested. And that's 76.7. And I'm going to stay with that. The larger possibilities that I flashed up here today, I will only talk about after we fail this large rectangle. So, again, get with the software. That's what we do. That's how we make the decisions. The longer term call, just so everyone is up to date. All right, it was always a 1618, 1902 price discovery move. At a minimum, that's definition price discovery, 1618. You can break out to a prior high, but is that really price discovery if it doesn't continue? And I'll get to some examples, but 1025. 1025 forever was what we were talking about. And then create the top end of the zone of the 1902. That's what we do. We look at ranges. And remember, I'm not going to shy away from the fact that at 24K, I said, all right, 2401, that's the breakout point. And it was a fake out point. Totally, I will own up to that every time. And the fact that we didn't break out was a problem for me. And then once we broke the 111, 107 area, that's where I switched, guys. And we've been down. For me, that was the breaking point. And the fact that we weren't going to go do the extreme 2618 minimum at 160. I mean, it had to happen at that time. But, it's all okay. We're just, we're going to do this 1618, 1902. We're not going to do a 2618 or a 3618 like we've done the last cycles. And if we're going to follow the cycles again and again, we got to adhere to them on the bear cycle years as much as the bull cycle years. My opinion is that the monthly breakdown there has already cracked, and this was the final, always is kind of the final acceleration trigger that we look for. Once we get our RSI component, for us is amplified RSI, it breaks the 50. This is where price can really begin to accelerate. On the monthly, we are deep. Only thing I want to see now, we take out this prior low of that last reading. We're there, but we do it on a monthly close. It's done. I mean, I think it's already done. But you've got a lot of the readings that we've talked about, the rollover that started in October, has really broken down on the monthly chart. What would it take for me to switch and not look for deeper retracements? We would have to, still, we're so close to being oversold here on HSI, Harmonic Strength Index. You would need another down or 2 or 3 months of sideways movement that basically stays here in the 80 to 90 range. Appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate you guys sharing it. Look, I'm not like I'm almost old enough to be a boomer, but and I really don't care. But I mean, I probably grew up with mostly boomers, but not really. I'm not totally active social media, but just do the patterns for this purpose alone. I mean, I post other markets. It's just that Bitcoin catches people's ear. That's the truth, and it's extremely harmonic. It's like gold in that way. I mean, gold is uniquely harmonic as well. Anyway, sticking to that, guys. For crypto, if Bitcoin is still in a retrace, we're now 87. We did bounce off of that target too that I mentioned. That was a there was a 4 hour recall. It was this. Okay, it was this bat pattern. Now we have, so here we have some back-to-back patterns. It's Bitcoin. So back-to-back patterns. Again, take a look for yourself. This is what, if you're involved with Bitcoin in any way, you need these levels. Here's another T1 going to target 2. We see that all the time. And then go back. I mean, this is where that other post was. Like 93K was it, 93.5. It took a little bit of time, but we finally got to target 2 with now a butterfly pattern. So this is what I'm looking for. We might hold up here before the end of the year, and we're now back-to-back patterns. So maybe what we get a reaction close to T2 over the next week. This is Bitcoin. Let it do a counter trend bounce. Look, we are grinding lower, guys. We're just grinding lower. We're stuck in this zone. It's just, I think it's a matter of time. So little counter trend and then come back down. And then look to fail towards the end of the year. Into January, particularly. I wouldn't say we're instantly back to 91, but that would be my top range resistance. I go pattern to pattern. Use the pattern. There's your resistance up here, 91, 92-ish. Support, 84, 85, 85, 86. But the breakdown's triggered. And I think what people who have been in denial are going to have to wake up. And once we take out these lows, again, it's a lot like, in my opinion, it's a lot like what happened back here on the first breakdown move at 107, 111 was the minimum, and that was just already failing. Miserable fashion. The weekly, guys, this is what I'm looking at. HSI never was oversold. Just like amplified going back in, I wouldn't say it's fear, but it's a terribly weak position here. If we roll back down and then we get oversold, that's where price does start to accelerate, much like we saw, I would say, here. We were here back at where HSI was dumping, and then the other kind of fake. I mean, normally HSI doesn't do that kind of a fake thing where it gets close. If we're this close, we will test it. Maybe it's like here on the last one, but I wouldn't even consider that until that registers oversold. So a lot to be on the lookout for. I would like another dot because that's the other thing. The HSI dot, guys, has been remarkably reliable. And why would we not follow it? Okay, and we've only had the dot for what, almost 2 years now. Like, I forget, but there was the low. Okay, bearish dot. So it goes sideways. Doesn't accelerate till you get another dot. Dot to dot. You get the picture. Double dot back in summer 24. Another pause up here on the first one. And all of these worked there. And then another bearish dot. I thought we'd get a failure up here. I thought this was where we'd get a failure. Nope. Don't fight the dot. Now, what would you wait for? I'd wait for a dot at a minimum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, somewhat kind of a pausing, but definitely a pause. 8 since the low. 8 signals. Where's my dot? That's proprietary. Okay, that's on the software. That's why you get it. But I'm not, my position won't change on Bitcoin until I at least see a dot. And what I'm thinking is we fail. We fail it, and then the dot comes a lot lower. Be on the lookout. One or two more. Don't want to spend too much time here because it's pretty clear directionally. We're down, yeah, and I know if it's Ethereum or whatever, all of these are down, and they're down. Ethereum here on the weekly's got, this just a continuation structure going on. Overbought. There we go. HSI overbought. Counter signal. Yes, we have a pattern, but look, daily's in a downtrend. We got your reaction. Can't even tag target one. So we're 29.20. I said this last week, and we were at like 31. I said I don't even going to consider this until we get back to 26.60. I think we go and we put in a dot somewhere between these two levels. Sub 2,500, maybe even down at 2,000. And now, I mean, like next 6 weeks kind of a thing. A lot going on there. That's not bullish constructive behavior. So there. Yep. The other one, again, I know we have diehard crypto people out there, and they use harmonic patterns. Really, what I'm trying to say to you is understand the bullish patterns you're looking at right now are not opportunities because we're seeing so many of these situations. Solana on the daily, a bullish bat pattern at 140. What's happened? I talked about this last week. This little counter trend move from 128 to 145 got overbought really quickly. That's like this one here and then even that first one. But it's probably more like a continuation where smack it down. 108 on Solana and type target 2 on the weekly is 106, 105.94. This has got $20 lower. $20 lower. I mean, it's not even not even considering it, okay? It's $20 lower. Larger possibilities we will discuss under 100, especially under these lows at 93, and it's all fair game. 95. There are no opportunities here. Sorry. I know there are people out there saying, I mean, some, others are finally starting to come around to it. Like, yeah, things have not even rebounded. I'm more of the opinion that, hey, a larger reset is happening here. A larger possibilities to the downside have to be considered. And I'm just going off of harmonic patterns. We are at the target, the type 2. That means we had from the initial reversal Type 1 to target 2 happened. Return move. Okay, confirmation came in a little early before the completion, but hey, type 2 reversal, target 2, minimum. That's how we treat those. Something bigger happening, possibly, like looking at patterns looking left, prior patterns, that's possible. One or two more. Okay, big ones. XRP, boy. You know what? I gave back a lot of money on the sucker, but I've been out for a little while now, and I'm very glad that it just took me too long. Took me too long. But I'm thinking that we're here at 190 on the weekly. There's just nothing. There really is nothing here until you maybe put in another pattern or got oversold. Are we even close? No, we're not even close. Not even close. The longer this happens, guys, and this is the way to read HSI, Harmonic Strength Index. We cracked the 50 right there. That was on the weekly. That was back in August, and the market was trading around $3. 278 was the low of that week. Broke down. It's just been a grind. And this is where HSI is a great marker of trend character. Broke the 50, rolling over, continuation lower. This can go a lot lower. The most benign read on XRP is to say, well, let it get oversold and then let it come all the way back out, and then maybe when it gets back above the 50. But quite frankly, that happens at a lot lower levels. There is just, I've never seen a narrative and chart pattern framework diverge so much where the sentiment is XRP is going to be a whatever $1 trillion entity. For a few months, I thought that was possible. If the crypto was going to do the explosive move that it did. It hasn't, guys. This crypto thing that was supposed to happen with the government, and I know they've got other things coming up, is a lot like how fast the adoption was supposed to be because of COVID and everything in 2020, and then the adoption kind of wave flared out as we got past COVID, so it wasn't anywhere near what they were talking about. Same's going on here. And if I got patterns looking left and they haven't been retested, this was our assessment 2 years ago. Massive bat pattern. And we were looking for type 1 to target 2. Well, what did it do? It went to a 1618 off the pattern. And that's it. I mean, look, there's the 1618. Did it get through? Don't think so. That's why it's even a type 2. Quite frankly, we could say that this is a type 2. It's not the nicest of twos, but there's your 382 minimum. Came all the way back down, retested, and that 1618 off of that pattern was $3. Guys, there's measurable reasons here. Measurable. In fact, what was that top? It was probably exactly 1902. Damn close. There are reasons why this thing is reacting, coming off of this, and there's only two really spots that I'm looking at this. And if this is a 1618, which it is, it's kind of a type 2, then, well, we should be fishing down here at the 618 level. That is always our measured type 2 level. That's like 160, guys. 158. That's where we go. And I don't, that's one of the bigger ones that people are talking, just still talking, really blindly. It's a blind kind of a narrative. blind narrative leads to technical blindness. You can't read the chart. It happens. People don't want to read this chart. That's where we are on the backside of that. The rest of it, it is what it is. I'm beyond. I'm kind of beyond it. I'm just it's like a car crash. It's like a car, like crypto to me is like a car crash on a highway on a bad snowy day, and you can't see anything, and a couple cars crash, and then the other cars can't see down the road, and they just keep crashing, and before you know it, you got like 20 cars crashed, piled up. That's crypto. So you're in crypto. I think the opportunity is to short it. I don't trade futures on crypto. I was spot. I am no longer spot, and it's going to be, it probably be like a year before I'll look at Bitcoin. It'll be October before I look at Bitcoin, and I will want to see, like, how do you know? Well, look at the past. I mean, I frankly, I think the dot to dot theory is a great way to go. So our last dot here, we failed. We didn't fulfill the expansion. I won't even consider it until we get another dot. And then the bigger picture of the monthly, which is the defining moment here, that monthly chart, we've had a couple of dots there and there. This one did fail. Okay, and I thought this was failing too. But we gave it enough time. We never got through that level. And so now I'm going to look wherever this retraces. I won't even consider it until we get another oversold like that or like that. We've had a few. That's somewhere down in here. It's not currently. Sorry. I really want to be clear on just how strong I feel about this. Listen, I've always said that I thought we were looking at an early January correction. Okay, and I think we are. I think we gotta just we're back to just looking at this, respecting what the levels are telling us. Okay, we're at the 1618. We can't get through, guys. We can't get through the 1618 on the daily, the weekly chart here. We're gonna have to digest this. Yesterday, we put in a yellow dot. That means overbought confirmation. Bring it back down. I think that level is like 595. 595 retest. Currently 607. We can look at that on the daily. We can look at that on the weekly. All right. We're how many weeks here sideways? 3, 6, 9, 12. That's 3 months. It's kind of like what we saw the end of last year. And it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, it just, there's your consolidation box. Here's another consolidation box. And we're coming off of some overbought structures. 628 is the exact level. The trigger is going to be like this. And again, coming into this end of the year, seasonal situations like tax loss selling is going to get kind of will intensify. On the weekly here, watch out for the candle that cracks this prior low back October or November. We take out the November low. We do it here on the weekly. That's how you get the continuation. It's not far away. I'm not. Maybe we get a couple of days. All right, where we get a little Santa Claus rally right after Christmas. Amazingly, Christmas a week from Thursday. New Year week 2 weeks from Thursday. But for right now, we're just digesting the whole 2024, excuse me, 2025 recovery range. So let's line up a few things. Yeah. Let's yeah, got that. Are you short? What's up, Neil? Are you short Solana? Are you? I'm playing. I've been saying back to 105 for a long time on that. Yeah. You don't have enough gold and silver for the reset coming. I hear that echo. Oh no, that was SMP. Uh, yeah, gold and silver, guys. They keep rocking. I mean, before we jump into other immediate stocks, silver we have talked about. It's got a 70 target on it, 72 ish. Silver futures are like this. SLV is higher. You're off 26 cents. You're seeing some, I think, some aggressive intraday moves, which is, I mean, silver's in a whole new. Last time silver's been like this was like 1979, guys. For real. We can go back and look at it, but it really is just doing major things that our target is the all-time 1618. Here you go. Let me fix this. We had a bat pattern. Go to the monthly. I mean, the monthly is as clear as day. Okay, here. XABC D down off the low is like this. High to low. There's XA. We could even say that that's a B point, which it is, and then C back down here. What is it? It's a crab pattern. It's going back-to-back pattern situations. You know, C point at a 707, 1618. Silver futures get you to actually 85. Yeah, 85 bucks. $85. We've already triggered it. We were here. If this was going to be a bat pattern solely at the 886 retrace, you tell me, what's that look like? It's a flat out fail. No confirmation, straight on through. Okay. If anything, this 55, 54 level is probably support going forward. We've seen this before. This kind of reminds me of the NASDAQ back in 2012, 2013 when that broke out. So a lot going on with that. I mean, gold and silver. Gold is, it's, you know, settled down a little bit. I think this year has all been about really silver, second half playing silver catch up. Gold just amazing. We got to watch some top end. Look, we're at the 2618 off of that multi-year decade area, and our 2618, our 314, that's how we get to like 45, 46. Off of the decade prior correction, the ultimate 3618 is up there at 5K. And I do think that that's where you go. So silver to 80 something. Gold gets up to 5K pretty quickly here, especially as we get into January. And then a lot of other markets, look, these techs, I've been talking so much about buying stuff like Google on a retrace, guys. Well, we're going to get one. Here it comes. Here it comes. I mean, there's the daily. All right, we were 325. Now we're 305. Where's the next oversold point? Because that's all I'm thinking about. We're hitting oversold today. First day. This is Google. So let's keep our eyes on what happens over the next 2 or 3 days. We could give an inflection by Thursday and then start to look for some kind of continuation signal. But the fact that that is finally oversold first time, we've seen it since October. I'd be looking at stuff like this. let it get oversold, still trending hard higher, and wait for the arrow dot and go. A few of those. I mean, Amazon's the other one. These are the bigger plays I'd be looking for. Amazon, we've been looking for this thing to come back. We got some patterns down here. You're almost there. This is, look, type 1 back for 2, 214-ish. We're getting there. We're reaching targets. Reaching targets. I think this is what we're going to have to just wait, let this come in, and get ready to go. It's going to probably be like it was back in March and April. It's going to hit flush out pretty hard, then give us the confirmation, and we're going to have to go. One or two more. Let me know what you guys want to look at. One or two more. I'm kind of thinking, what's going on with Baba? Because Baba doesn't want to do a return move. We didn't get any kind of confirmation down here, and we are still against this monthly pattern. So I'm a little concerned with Baba now, because if it's type 1, type 2, then is reaction over on the monthly chart? The bar, we hit it, and this is framework in action, guys, on a monthly chart for Baba. There was T1. We had the confirmation, and we checked back up here. 77. It took over 2 years, 2.5 years to really get moving. And then on the month, we hit target 1. We can't get through. We start to roll over. Under 157, even though there's no confirmation here, price action wise, that looks done. Are we going to do a return move? We've seen this. That's my concern. I think Baba's done. And I think Baidu, if we're going to stick to framework, a lot of this stuff in the last month has basically reared its head of saying, all I was a reaction. That's it. Here's Baidu. That was a 1-2, but that completed the type 2. All right, type 1, quick, sharp reaction, send it back down. Retest it at 80, 83, go to target 2, can't get through. So we're seeing a lot of things like this, framework, basically saying we're done the move. And I would need some kind of oversold signal, lower prices until that even comes in. And it's, we looked at Target last time, guys. I think it's a fantastic pattern. I forget who brought up Target, but I'm really just trying to riff on major patterns, monthly patterns, no less. I mean, this is where big things can happen. But confirmation won't be official till the end of the month. So a lot of stuff like this that's either finished the reaction or finished the reversal would need not only a 1 or a 2, but you would need confirmation. And a lot of these are not there yet. I think January is going to be, it's going to have to be paid for. January is going to see some profit taking for a lot of reasons. And that's when I think we're going to get the crypto breakdown. I think so. SPY trying to dump. Well, we didn't look at the SPY yet. But yeah, look at the SPY here. Down 5. That's our monthly. I wouldn't be surprised to see a channel test, guys. In just a mild channel test. There's a weekly. And on the weekly, let's say we do have a retrace. That's like 630. Currently 675. I mean, that would be a 5-7% pullback. Weekly is not getting through. Obviously, the last dot is 672. Now, where's amplified? See, amplified, and this is the one trigger that if we get this in the first week of January, or we see this between now and the first week of January, it's going to set off the first quarter as pretty ugly. We break under the 50. We're really close. This could be testing here by next week. And then trigger it. Take a look at what HSI is doing on the top. Okay, that violated it back in October. We've been down since. Market has gone nowhere. Nowhere. And the thing is that, guys, we could do this retrace and still be firmly within this bull market channel. That's really the takeaway. We've seen it. Look, last few years. How many flexes we've had, since the low here. Bang, retrace. I mean, that was like a 45%. Go again, and another retrace. You get the picture? That's where we are now, and then going into January, that's the thought. Not what I want, but that's the thought. Couple more. NBIS, sure. NBIS, that's another, that was a high flyer. Where's the dot? We're checking back. No dot. Jeez. There's the daily. Oh, here you go. Well, there's a type 2. I did remember we had something, but it was a 1-2. So Gartley, great. Did the type 1. And take a look at what happens at target 1. This is just kind of repeating myself, but when you see this, you hit T1. T1 dollar sign goes on. Price action cannot get through and then starts to roll over. There's only one place for it to go. Back down on the return move. Retest here or lower. I would need confirmation, guys. Somewhere, show me confirmation down here. And it's just not there. You're oversold. Look, HSI is oversold. You probably have 2 or 3 days before considering that giving confirmation. It's a great pattern. I would actually line that up. If we got confirmation down here, maybe it's 75 or 70 or 65. That is the general area to start looking. But you've got several days of work to do in this area. It's a great pattern. Just hasn't confirmed yet. Yep. True. What's up, Thales? Thales thinks Target is in a generational buy zone. I think it's a monster monthly setup that is going to take several monthly bars to really do anything. So just expect that to be super, super long term. You could be in there for 4 to 6 months and it doesn't move above 100. But I think it's worth it starting January, early January. See how that goes. There's others, guys, that I've mentioned. Caterpillar is another one that coming back off the daily overbought, 589. I'm just waiting for the next dots, and they're not anywhere near it. But I still say, uptrend, let it do its retrace. Like here and there. So a bunch of these. Right now, overbought. That's the top for the year. Retrace it back down. And we will get quiet. I mean, really, after Thursday, like next week's going to be super low volume. So we're not going to have the force to do much in terms of really running this. I think you're getting a lot of chop. Oracle has the dot on the 4 hour. I mean, Oracle has been one of those that has now retraced, I think, to a sufficient level. Um, yeah, okay, we hit that. So we had a couple things here. Software was kicking out a larger pattern. I don't like the daily, but it's the weekly has been, I think, helpful. Like, get something on the weekly like that, HSI, so it's checking back now. That's 185 is the low. And it's a lot like there, and you can just go back there on the weekly chart. There. You've had 5 signals in the last 3 years. Or six. 1, 2, 3. Can't really see that. 4, 5, 6. So Oracle, probably a tax loss candidate to sell it. But let's look down here. 185. You need 2 more weeks. You need 2 more weeks before you get the dot. 2 bullish weeks, by the way. I think it's 185-ish. I don't like that we got some overbought counter HSI signals. So we know we still need 2 more weeks though. Watch it. Watch it, watch it. What was the other one you had? PayPal and OKTA. Let's start with OKTA. Okta. What's going on there? The daily? Weeklies like this, got nothing. I hear what you're saying. I don't think it's a bad idea. No confirmation. Can we get a type 2 on the bat? This is looping behavior. All right, you get the bat, you get something all the way back here. 15 months ago, pops up, does the type 1, and then the 2 to seal the deal. All right, you got to come back to 70. There's no dot. There's nothing here that would even interest me on the daily. Yeah, kind of, but look, we're already overbought again. It's back here. It's like 72-ish. It's not 89. And this little red arrow pointing down, that says this is all reaction. That's how I would read that. Nothing more. Couple more. PayPal. Like this. Back tax loss candidate for sure. We're going to get oversold in a big way. Again, these are not the trending creatures that I'd really like to focus on because we're on this kind of long-term downtrend, but such a vicious reset. All the way up, full 886 is there at 62 is the all-time 886. Again, look at your indicators. What's RSI doing on a weekly basis? It's firmly down. It's firmly down over the last 18 months or more. And that would have to turn around. I mean, you would. I don't know what happened to this company. I really don't know what happened to this company, but they've been clocked. And can I get a dot, which is even that is like a retest at 55. One or two more. Qubits. Look, Qubits is taking its time. And these quantum stocks are the other ones that are we going to continue this long-term uptrend? Are they for real? Right now, we're back with the shark. I'm just watching this retest of the shark because another counter HSI. So it's back here. But we're down here at the trend line. I'm closely watching these. That one and QUBT, D-Wave, IONQ. Quantum computing, I think, was... Hold on. No, QUBT is not the one. Maybe it was, well, 4 hour, yeah, but that's back at like 9. Uh, it was IONQ. Yeah, because we've got a few things here. Sorry, IONQ down here. Yeah, retesting the shark. That's on the 4 hour and the daily. Yeah, and again, pattern, great long-term uptrend, great back-to-back patterns. Um, yeah, I'm looking at this down here. It's 48. $40 is really the 886 on that. Give it time. I really think, this stuff's going to give us another opportunity. Get oversold, produce a dot in an ideal fashion. Yeah, and then we go. Um, Here's one or two that I've showed you guys before. Here's Iron Mountain. I thought it's pretty interesting until it wasn't. The daily, what happened? We had just last week a couple of signals at 83. It shot up to almost 90, 89, and then put in a daily HSI. So, I mean, what the heck happens? I'm watching this one though. I like where this type 2 is. It's just in context of the weekly. No, it probably needs some more time. Look, weekly is oversold deeply right there. That's going to take you into the end of the year. That's why we haven't moved off of that 80 level, 85 level. A couple more. LAC, short. LAC is like this. Remember, it's the monthly. And the monthly, yeah, had that huge move. Kind of a dud move. I love the pattern. I mean, it's spectacular, but this should have held. That really should have held. What was that? Like, just a nasty candle at 565. I think you come back, you're 41, you're probably going to kiss 398 again. I mean, this is just a reaction. Never got to target one. That's a shame. Maybe do the retest at 398. That is a shame though. What was the other one? Ash on a monthly. Ashland on a monthly. That's a nice one. Confirmation was last month at 47. Great pattern. It's still a type 1 though. So the way to be treating that is look for the reaction up to target. And if we run into an overbought arrow trigger and it can't get through, that's the other limiting factor. But yeah, you're almost there. So maybe higher. You're 58, get to 71, or something like this. Maybe it's just a reaction and then we kiss it, and then next month we kind of get rejected. Problem with this, it's just a recovery play. I mean, it really is. You're trying to get that off that low. I mean, it's not bad. I'm not, I wish that was trending a little more aggressively. But I guess longer term for this type of stock, this type of company, it's like that. Yeah, that might be a nice area here. Low end of the channel, under the channel, shake it out, and try to keep this long-term 20-year uptrend going. I'm down on that. Let's get that on the list. I have not seen that until now. Oh, what's Tesla looking like? I tell you what, Tesla's flirting with levels here. Tesla's up here Where are we going here, Tesla? Man, 480. I something's up. I still say this is just making its way to do a 1618, on the weekly 600. But the weekly, that was a monthly. The weekly's here retesting the type 2 pattern. The daily, even the daily had this check back, but just a minor reaction, and we're back up in the zone. I love it long term. Okay, ever since this pattern back here at 267 has been great. I was really hoping to have another jump on point at 372. Not happening. So this is one of the exceptions. Amazing type 1, type 2 on the crab. Why it hasn't really fallen out of bed is because we hit the 50 and bounced. But I think for now you're still, 500, 536, hop level test, maybe. 488, terminal bar retest. It's an interesting setup. I'm not saying jump on it right here blindly. I think you got to just wait. Last time we've had even an oversold opportunity was back here in August, September. You're going to have to wait for something like that. Definitely. Palantir for Dawn. Let's see here. Unfolding Dawn. Palantir is another one holding. Trying to hold. 4-hour time frame. You're up at 185 is the resistance confirmation. Oof. Gotta watch this. Gotta watch 185. 187. Are we looking at something like this, guys? Okay, left shoulder. There's your head. Like that. Come back down. And then right shoulder. Really, because that's a 382, this should be like a 7-8. Yeah, oh, I get it. That's not right. Now I know why. But 786 somewhere here. Watch it. I'm wondering if Palantir does need to kind of resolve this weekly stuff. It's just phenomenal. I was done with this at like 140, quite frankly. And ever since, we were on that back at 30. But, it's like this. Where are we? 314? Nope. 3618 is, and that's how I'd look at it all time is a 3618. And that's like 155. That could be some overspill there. I would really be careful here. Let's see what January gives us. Okay, that's my focus. Even if I wanted Palantir, give me on trigger off the 4-hour time frame. Right now, there's the last overbought. We're hitting resistance, like that's 185. Down here, support was 155. Dot to dot. What's the last dot? You have a double dot, bearish. Okay, respect it. Yeah, that's it. You thought 221 for Palantir? Uh, was was that what I was saying? Because we've been dealing with this bat pattern. The only thing 221 could be like this 1618. 1618. Yeah, I mean, but that was probably before we had the whole 1-2 dynamic of the pattern. And this, see, the problem is now, I see what you're saying, but this changed the deal. 4-hour bearish confirmation's probably it for now for the year. And we do have a daily HSI that will get a bearish dot in a couple of days. Actually, one more bearish red day, not two. We'll get a dot. keep an eye on it. I don't have a place to jump on it. You guys know I like to wait for things to retrace and wait for stuff like this. It might come in a few weeks, but just out of kind of discipline, I'm waiting for stuff like that. Got to. A couple more. What's up, Mr. Kush? What's happening? Welcome. BBAI and SoundHound, I think these are stocks for next year. SoundHound is like this. BBAI, I just think they're building here at the low end. BBAI 4 hours is shark. Back here at 10. Wow. It round tripped it. But daily time frames like this. Let's watch what happens here because this is like the quantum stocks. They have made progress. So I'm not too concerned with the retracement. If anything, this is the area to be looking like $10. But it's probably not going to work out or really unfold until we get to January. I expect us to be 10 to 11 for another 2 weeks before we get out. And look, what direction is HSI in? On the daily, it's still down. I wouldn't even consider it. I'm looking at it for a next leg higher, but it has to do something like this. Not only hit the oversold and reverse, but get above 50. And that could put me into January. Same as BBAI. BBAI. What happened? Huh. BBAI. We're down at 6, right? 594. Hold on. Yeah, maybe SoundHound's better, but still needs confirmation. Yeah. What's up, Scott? How are you today? Scott Mulliner wants to look at Spotify. Did we retest that? We retest 600 there? Well, I mean, hop level here, yeah, but it was this. It was remember we had this prior, we talked about this last week. Another counter situation. Oh, that's 4 hour. Daily's like this, though. There we go. Okay. We do have a counter situation. And that was Friday. But we were looking for the retest of this signal, which was like 61. Low was 63. I'm looking at Spotify. I like the setup here. But again, I'm going to come back and say, what direction is HSI headed? Well, we did recently get oversold. But look, we're trending lower. And this could turn around, a day or two. But with this overbought trending lower, no. Not ready to go yet. I like it. I like the patterns. Type 2, got confirmation. But we need progress. We need amplified to get back above the 50. We need that to turn back around. Again, I'm thinking maybe another day or two. Not yet. I mean, this counter HSI, this is the one thing that can get in the way of any good move to try to get this to target. There's the T2, a dot. Okay, first time that we look at that. We're trying to go to 690. That's target 2, but we did not trigger. Well, you know what? We have to consider that as a 50 breach. Absolutely. The only problem is we got overbought on HSI, so maybe this just takes a few more days. I do like it. I mean, forget about the whole thing under 550. Give it a day or two. I mean, we're really going to get development We hold 577. And we kind of just waddle down here for a few more days. It's all right. You know, you're at the bottom of that trend channel. It's the kind of idea we do want to look for. Oh yeah, the weekly's got a dot as well. So we're looking. We're looking. Could be a tax loss, kind of selling until it doesn't do anything until we turn around come January 1st or after the first week of January. Couple others. Yeah. GEV. Man, you guys got lots of stocks today, which is good. GEV. GE Verona. I don't know what that is. I'm going to have to look it up. It's another GE spinoff. I don't, I mean, it's strong AF, but I don't have anything to offer you. Again, easiest thing to do is pull up a 4-hour chart. Your daily, your weekly chart's out of control, trending higher. Look for stuff like this. Dot and dot and dot, bullish dots where it says, all right, this is going to hold. We're pausing before we go higher. That's not a bad assumption. I'll have to look up that little research. Apache, APA, getting clocked today. Where's the weekly here? Yeah, I thought we had something amazing. It's an ugly Gartley for sure, but look at the hop level held perfectly on the weekly. Look, I'm not really a fan here. If you wanted to get long, you need oversold. You got some patterns, which is more like 23, 22. Come back and hit 22 or 20. I think that's lower. I know what you're saying in terms of maybe some of these energy stocks are ready for next year. Not until the retest. We're overbought on every 1994 hit target 1 off the bat. That used to be a real screamer. There's the monthly, guys. Monthly Apache. I knew there was lots of patterns down here, but again, overbought. I think it's back at 22. Now, here's a great pattern. Look, for me to say, I could come out here and say, look, these patterns are great. This is end all be all. Okay, this is the kind of thing that, look, this pattern is going to absolutely run. This is a great monthly back-to-back situation, but you really can't expect anything major until we break out of that trend and then we turn around on, say, yeah, like here's amplified. Trying to crack 50 on the monthly, that's a good sign. How will we really know? Look like next month. Like if we could pop like this next month, that would be of significance. I like it, but you're way early. And to try to instill kind of the proper realistic attitude, you could get into this thing and build yourself up and say, man, patterns are amazing. Look at the levels, confirmation, everything. And then you go sideways for 6 months. And it's like June or July and you're still at $24. That's possible. And at that point, then because I've been there, then you're just like, all right, I'm wasting time here. That's the kind of thing why we want to wait for that. Starbucks, what's up? Vincent, Starbucks. Yeah, we're still waiting on that 77. Here's another one. Starbucks. Look at that. Long term, I think Starbucks will go higher, but when? Because the 73 is the perfect type 2. That could happen, I think, in January, and it'd be the last retest. Longer term, Starbucks is building here, but check it out, okay? Get down to something like here, 73. 70, and then trigger some kind of oversold reading. For now, we're still lower after that last overbought signal. I don't want to be early on this stuff. I don't. Just nothing there. Not yet. All right. It's a daily. It's not even a type 2. It's a daily shark. But even those numbers are 80 bucks. We're really in between, guys. I got to say that. Like, a lot of charts have played out this year. Other charts that are getting crushed, continuing to get crushed. There's not a heck of a lot setting up at the moment. I mean, this is a good one, but it's 85 and we're looking for 73, 76. Couple others. Is there a potential head and shoulders on Soundhound? Maybe, but I think it's gonna. You need a couple weeks to do the retest. Path. What's that? UI path? Yeah, there you go. Here's another one. Okay, we're bottoming. We're scraping lows, and I mean you're starting to make progress, but is this really trending? I just it's not. And look at the daily. 19. All right, target 1. It's probably, you're probably still going to come off of this to where you're more like 15, maybe 13. Yeah, I'm not there yet. I mean, your last signal was overbought at that diamond. I think it's like a, come back, fill the gap. It's 15, 13 is target 2. Again, instinctively, folks, it's really easy. That's to do that kind of bottom fishing and look for patterns. And then we're like, yeah, okay, we sold off 90% and now we have a pattern. That means it's going to go right back up. No, we really want those trending situations. One or two more. What was the other one? Again, SLV. I think we got to wait on that. That's the silver ETF. I just hit SMCI is another one where, look, weekly, monthly, this is just begging. I brought this up before, but again, SMCI, amazing kind of tech rack play, but here, you got to tap 22. Still 31. That's a weekly chart. You've been trying to do that return move for all year. I'm digging. I really am digging. I think we need to have some action unfold to set up the next kind of levels, the next opportunities. They're not there yet. Cardano, man, do you really want me to talk about Cardano? Because I did last time, and Cardano's going to 24 cents. Cardano is why crypto will likely, the altcoins are in trouble. I just, they did nothing. You got it out of me. Okay, so here it is. I didn't want to even get back into it, but I'll do it this way. Let's look at market cap. I talked about this on Thursday. Cardano is like a $14 billion market cap. All right. If it was really going to be something, it would have been adopted, instituted, integrated, and we would be at 30, 40, 50 billion, whatever. It would be really something. It's a bust. Cardano is the biggest bust of the top 10, in my opinion. Like, we know Doge was kind of a joke, but Cardano was supposed to be something. So 14 billion to me is probably still overpriced. I think if it's got to go to 20 cents, it's going under 10 billion. If not new lows, which is like this thing has no business being a $1 billion entity. That's how I'm looking at this now. We had no progress in this cycle. And at this point, we have to assume that pretty much everything is going everything. I mean everything. Maybe not Bitcoin all the way, but 886 retracements are minimum moves that have to happen from the last cycle. Period. This cycle failed. This cycle, it started off great a year ago. Looked like it was going to develop into something. It failed. And it really failed with the breakdown like here, which was around 65, 75 cents. And this is the trouble with all of them. We failed to produce it, failed to get really what was supposed to happen. And I would say something like Cardano here, guys, is going to do, we can't even draw an M formation. What is that? B point is really, what that really is? That's a butterfly because it's truly, it's like a 786. And I can't go 127 because it's not going to work. It just is not going to work. But 1-to-1, ABCD down. I mean, this thing gets cut in half. I don't even think it's worth $1 billion. If they can't figure it out by now, how to make this thing go, then just go back to lows. I really think this is possible where Cardano is, not only has it failed, but technically it's going to fail this uptrend line. And there's really nothing left. There's no new catalyst, and the holders are going to give up. Doge is probably a bleed or two. And just so I'm really clear, I'm not trying to FUD it. I'm trying to point out the fact that absolutely these are breaking long-term, trends. We've got big patterns. There's a weekly. That helps the case, but here's the deal. We had this crazy reaction. We send it back down. Our pattern level for Doge, it wouldn't even trigger oversold until we're under 12 cents. Prior signals from, I guess, last year are like 9 cents. Currently 13. I've been saying 9 cents for a while, but it's just another example of the failure, the level of failure. And you can bring up a lot of these nasty T coins that have done nothing. And again, guys, this is the state of crypto. A lot of these crypto are on the verge, in my opinion, of losing massive market capitalization. And so if you go to like the others index, this is what it says to me. On a harmonic level, guys, this is what it says to me. Here's the others index. Now, we had that crazy capitulation move, but if I'm just talking to myself, type 1 reaction, that's the expected move off of a pattern. Type 2 reversal. What do we need for a type 2 reversal to really send it? We need to get oversold. So that's back down here. You're 200 billion now. I wouldn't even think about that until you're about 10% lower to trigger some kind of oversold condition. And look at where we are. So, and this is a problem. Here's the total. This is others. We're deep oversold and we keep expanding. Keep expanding, keep expanding. That's when price really bleeds out. This might be the lowest. Nope, the lowest reading was July 22. What a coincidence, right? Going into a bear cycle year. Again, we could be all the way down here on others index. Really similar. That's how severe these failures have been. The breakdown has been. And so again, guys, I'm thinking under 185, but hey, this whole area is at stake. And if it's going to be as crappy as that's been my it's been my problem with it. Okay, I gave a lot of I'm going to be upfront. I gave a lot of money back holding on to this shit. And back in October I bailed out in my last spots. Because now it's going to really bleed and if others is like going to be like the rest, you're going to do an 886 reset. That's get cut in half from current levels. That's how severe this is. So crypto, I've really beat you up. Sorry, stocks, I kind of think you need to come in more to give us really nice, ideal oversold signals and patterns. And gold, silver, they're going to continue to run. Yeah. Why would ICP? Mr. Bop at Nat. Why? Why would we even look at it? I'll bring it up for you. I'm telling you, you might as well go play craps or blackjack. Take all your money and go have fun because ICP's $3. These are manipulation waves. So like whoever it is, the Chinese, Russian hackers, American nerds who are getting their money together and they run it, they pop it, and then they dump it. That's called a coordinated ramp. And they know exactly where they're going to take it and they run it out. For us, it's just, look, it's just a cascading boing, 618 right there, and then bang, back down. Almost a perfect 618 there. ICP goes to $1.79 based on the pattern. Don't even want to think about it. There's zero, capital Z. 179 is the terminal bar. Even if I was looking at that, got to retest it. And they're all looking like H bar, right? It was supposed to be Larry Fink's baby. All right, H bar was going to be this. It was going to take over and this and that and RWA and blockchain and give me some other catchy words. No. 886 retrace on H bar. 886. Go to 7 cents. Thank you. That's where we are, guys. I don't even go into it any further. Yeah, I really, I want some things to set up. Okay, I love Tesla, but guys, I think, things like Tesla will get another opportunity. I mean, that's one of the strongest charts we see, but throw the pattern on top of it. We're probably at the top end for right now. Who's going to win in the next 3 years? Tesla's going to be up there. Google's going to be up there. Amazon's going to be up there. Where are we going to buy them? Oh, Google, am I buying it up here at 305? Hell no. Can I get a retrace to 280? 290? Something like that? Maybe. At what price? And that's going to be the challenge. Can we keep ourselves just waiting for those opportunities to come our way? Yes. And that's what we'll do here, because a whole bunch of stuff, we see a bunch of these, like a lot of the high flyers. Okay, we had what was wasn't Oklo? No, Bloom Energy. And this is the other thing to consider. Okay, these were massive winners. Bloom Energy went 20, I think it was 140 on the top side. Yep. Amazing run. These two are going to have to do massive retraces to give us something. Like I would wait for a weekly level as this is done. Come back 382, it's already there. So these are on the kind of the winners, people that are looking for tax loss selling candidates, wouldn't say tax loss, but profit taking, this is going to be a profit taking candidate. I would say it's actually, you'd have something like this for Bloom Energy and find yourself back at 23 or 25. All right. Those high flyers, we got to let them go. Let them come in. The rest of it, like I said about Baba and these others, they're just not there. Coinbase, guys, you want to short? I'm looking to short. Can I get something overbought on a 4-hour? We just had it. Here's Coinbase. Right there at 271. This is a part of the framework, guys. You might say, well, Scott, there's a bullish pattern there. Why would you think it's going down? Because this first move was just a reaction. Now you're coming back. Retest XA. You're going to need confirmation, and that's not even close. Hitting it now, that's a 4-hour time frame, but way early. And if anything, rolling over. So look, the charts are saying something that's different than what the narrative is out there. And the fact that people are still clamoring on Bitcoin is a perfect example. It's not completely opposite, but man, it is a lot different when we break down framework, patterns, confirmation for what people are saying. And people are saying, QE return, printer's going to go back on. Yeah, but where's the pattern? Where's the pattern? Where's the confirmation? It's not there yet, guys. Listen, new folks, welcome. For those that have hung on, let's give away one 30-day package. HPC 30 will get it. HPC 30 will give you a 30-day package. Everyone else, get over to harmonictrader.com. All right, and then get the free trial. Cyber Monday, Friday is up. All right, that's over. But if you want, listen, send a Discord. If you want to get that discount, you have to DM me directly over on the Discord. Okay? Mr. Kumar, you win. That's great. Hit me on the Discord. Anybody else that wants to get that discount, you have to send me a note. I've got to send you a new code. But it's pretty much over. On Thursday, I'll do a little Christmas rollout. It won't be as nice as the Black Friday, Cyber Monday. But you guys know how I roll. If you reach out to me, you take the effort, I'm willing to hook you up. Everyone else, hang in there. We'll be back on Thursday, 12:30. You have any questions, DM me on that link. And, as always, guys, go get them. Stay strong. Take advantage of this time. All right? Let this market kind of shake itself out. Take some time. Kind of step back a little bit. Get ready for January. And as far as crypto, I think you know how I feel. I'm looking for a larger, hate to say it, a larger flush lower and a lot lower. We'll see how that goes. Till Thursday, as always, have a great one. We'll see you next time. Go get them.